Now, Robbie Howell says, do you think changing spark plugs slightly earlier than required would reduce carbon deposits over the life of an engine due to fouled spark plugs not burning quite as efficiently? This clip is brought to you by PartsView.com. Check them out using the link and discount codes in the description below to save money on your boat and engine parts. Well, I think that most of the maintenance schedules that all the brands have put out there, I mean, they've all done extensive research and development in their maintenance schedules. By and large, all of them have you changing spark plugs around 300 hours. And so I don't think if you change your spark plugs at, say, 250, you're going to lessen the amount of carbon deposits that you have in the engine. Carbon is mainly built on fouled spark plugs, yes, but if you do a lot of trolling, a lot of idling and stuff like that, if you never get your engine up to temperature, that's when you're going to build a lot of carbon up. And if you are having an issue with building carbon, or you're concerned about building carbon, before I went and changed spark plugs, especially now some spark plugs are $15-20 a pop. So if you've got $15-20 on, say, a 6-cylinder, you've got 160 on an 8-cylinder. So, I mean, it could get kind of expensive. You got 2 engines, depending on what you've got, that could get a little bit expensive just for saving 150 hours. Instead of doing that, what I would recommend you do is just run ring free or quick clean. If you have a Yamaha, run Yamaha ring free. Phenomenal product. I think it works great. I mean, there's thousands of people out there that swear by it. I've seen great results with it, and it's the same thing with Mercury's Quick Clean. They're two really, really good products that they're fairly inexpensive for what they are. Ring Free's a little bit more pricey, and then now, of course, being August in 2024, everything's more expensive. It's like doubled, but outside of that, yeah, carbon, I don't think I would go into changing spark plugs early. I would just run a Ring Free or Quick Clean and forget about it. And also, if you're never getting your engine up to temperature or running wide open throttle, try and start running a little bit of wide open throttle every now and then to get your RPM up, get the heat up, and burn that carbon off. Frankie Dorr says, question for you. The lights on the side of my trailer, are they just running lights or do they have to blink? Also, thanks for the video. I mean, that's a decent question, Frankie. So no, they shouldn't. You can make them blink if you would like them to blink, but should they? No, not really. Most of the trailer lights on the sides, they're just running lights. They're just going to be a yellow or an orange. I mean, that's pretty much what they are. They're running lights. They're not for your turn signal. If you want to make them blink with your turn signal, you could do that, but not really necessary. Just an interesting question, though. Thank you, Frankie. Catfish Stalker Outdoors with 530. I think I got that right. Catfish Stalker Outdoors with 530. Oh, thanks for the video. Thank you, Catfish Stalker. I have a 2013 Mercury 115 horsepower on my pontoon. It takes me a little of moving the shifter around to find neutral so I can start the motor. Do you know if there is an adjustment available for that? Thank you. Yeah, it's in your cables. We've talked a lot about shifting lately, actually, but yeah, your control cables, there's just on the ends of the cable, there is an end inside the control box. It will be adjustable, and at the engine, it will be adjustable. Really, I would just try and do it at the engine first. That way you don't have to take your control box out of your boat, but take the cowling off the engine on your little shifter, your throttle control there. If you're talking about the shifter, I think that's what we're talking about, shifter. You just look at your shift shaft mechanism, and you're on a Mercury, you're probably gonna have a 10 millimeter nut on there. You take that 10 millimeter off, or it might have the clip thing on there. You just take that off, pull the cable out because it's got a notch in it, and you'll be able to spin the end of that out. Or I mean, you just take that out and there'll be this little like knob on it, depending on what 2013, yeah, it should have a little knob on there. It should be a Gen 2. You got a little knob. You'll be able to spin that little knob around, and that will move that cable in or out based on whenever you put it back in. So it should just slide right in there to where your shift mechanism is in the neutral position. You can also do that at the front. I want to say that the front is adjustable, but off the top of my head, can't think of it. It's late in the day, so there is that. But yeah, at the back of the cable, the little knob, spin it back and forth, find neutral to where it'll just slide on it. And if it doesn't fix it, then you need a new control cable. Your control cable's just stretched. It's just time to do a replacement. Alan Foss says, I have a similar shift shaft. After changing my water pump, when I put the lower end back in, my tranny won't shift, forward, neutral, or reverse. I know the top is shifting when I looked in the top end and went through all 3 gears. Could it be because it's pushing it up or not engaging, or what? Generally when this happens, I'm going to say that you just missed the shift shaft. Generally there might be something else going on there, but by and large, 9 times out of 10, if you take your lower unit off that was shifting fine and you put it back on, especially on a Yamaha, I'm not sure what type of engine you have, you didn't say, but yeah, if you put it back up there and it doesn't shift at all, most likely you just missed the shift shaft, which is very common because when you drop the lower unit, your shift shaft is like right here, and it's got a circle to where the shift shaft of the lower unit slides up into it. And you need to make sure it slides up in there. But when you pull it out, sometimes that shift shaft can fall down like this. So when you go to put it back up, the shift shaft's laying right here. You push it back up, and it just sits on the side of it. There could be other reasons why it's not shifting, but by and large, that is 9 times out of 10 the most common one. And you just need to kind of make sure when you lift it up, you put a screwdriver or something up in there, move the shift shaft over to where it'll connect with the shift shaft, slide the lower unit back up in there, and you're usually golden after that. Pretty common. I mean, unless there is something else going on, there very well could be, but by and large. So if you like this clip, you can watch the full podcast over here, or you can watch another clip over here.